Issue 1048 continues Mariko Tamaki's The Tower, so it's The Tower Part 2. We get a little bit of background on Tobias Ware, who is the guy in charge of The Tower, in charge of the new Arkham project, who's clearly up to something. We see that he had a psychotic mother in the past, which gives us kind of ample reasoning as to why he might want to go into this field and help people, but we see much later, when in the last few bits of the story, as to why actually that's no reason at all. His mother may have been a psycho, but it appears he's not too far from the tree. The apple has fallen not too far from the tree, as the old saying goes. We actually get to see a big hitter this time around in the shape of Mr. Freeze, so it's not just the three characters that Tamaki herself came up with. We do get one of Batman's actual Rogues Gallery members from the more famous kind of league, shall we say. Given this facility supposedly has 47 Arkham inmates in it, prior Arkham inmates in it, I would have expected to have seen more than just good old Victor, to be honest. But what I like about this story is Batman's away. Now, obviously, I've reviewed what's going on in Batman over in my reviews for that title. So that explains where he is. But I like that we're getting this story here where his team are having to fend for themselves. They're having to go it alone. Not necessarily alone, but they're sticking together. They're bonding. They're being a unit. They're committing to the cause. They're going about their business as usual, even though Batman isn't there. And it's quite a big thing that is going down for them to take on. So I like the fact that they're all in this together. You've got Batwoman going in undercover as someone who works there. You've got Nightwing already in there as someone who works there as a janitor. You've got Huntress, who's gone in there as a patient, although she actually does need mental care, so it'll be interesting to see where that goes, given that the visions she's been having recently, whether that can be fixed whilst she's in Arkham. And again, we're still having that jump forward, jump back in time, which really allows for the pace to feel quite non-stop. It's very well paced indeed. It's paced very much like an old 90s Chuck Dixon comic book. I thought Chuck Dixon always paced things really well, like a movie. He always had the pacing of a movie when it came to his writing style. I think Tamaki does the same here. It feels very brisk. The cover of this issue features Harley Quinn. That's kind of like one of the draws, or certainly someone who looks like Harley Quinn. And then as you get into the issue itself, you realise, it's not Harley Quinn. It's someone who fancies themselves as Harley Quinn. So that kind of adds to my frustration with them not having actual, your big name Rogues Gallery members in there. Even when they go towards getting them, it's actually not them. It's a carbon copy. This is a weird character, and given that they make the cover, I'd have expected them to play a bigger role in this particular chapter of the story, to be honest. But it does amount to essentially nothing more than, hey, look, that's someone who thinks they're Harley Quinn. They're a bit wacky. And then we move on. I feel like that. Don't get me wrong, the cover artwork for this is phenomenal. And I've seen the cover art that's coming for the next few issues, and the cover artwork is stellar. It's got to be said, but I feel like maybe something about Dr. Ware and his past, or maybe even Anna Volscian, would have been a better kind of cover piece for me personally. If you're going to stick a character on the cover of this particular issue, I'd have gone with either Anna Vulshan or maybe even Mr. Freeze, you know. But yeah, it just feels like we get this weird knockoff Harley Quinn that doesn't really do much in the story. Who knows? Maybe she's going to play a much bigger part later down the line. But for the moment, it feels like to me the biggest part of this issue was learning of Dr. Ware's past, where he came from, what he could have been, and how he's actually in fact turned out. Interesting kind of piece of backstory for Ware at any rate, and as I say, interesting interplay, fun interplay between our main heroes, seeing them kind of dig into this tower and try and get try and get underneath everything that's going on. This video is brought to you by Wow Comics. Visit wowcomics.com today and order your comic books online and use this code down at the bottom of the screen, WowBry1, when you place your order, and you will get 15% off. I've teamed up with Wow Comics to bring you this video and others like it because they are a company I trust. I buy my comic books from them, so I suggest you do the same. As I say, use the code WowBry1 at wowcomics.com and get 15% off your order. The backup story for this is, of course, House of Gotham, Chapter 2, once again. Kind of misprinted on the front cover as House of Wayne. I don't really get it. But yeah, House of Gotham, Chapter 2, we pick up the story of this young boy whose family was murdered by the Joker, and he's in Arkham Asylum. And we meet Harley Quinn. Not Harley Quinn, but Harleen Quinzel. So Dr. Quinzel is which puts us in the time frame of when this is set, which I didn't realise from the first issue. So yeah, this is way back. So this is a story that is covering a long way back in time. So obviously we had Joker first time round, and now we get Harleen Quinzel before she's probably even met the Joker, doing an assessment on this kid, and clearly not showing a particularly warm and loving side. She's so interested in the psychoanalytical aspects of what this kid is saying that she's a bit neglectful of her patient. Clayface in this story gets a little bit of warmth. He's called a monster by the staff, and he's doing janitorial duty, which is a bit, he's the wrong person to get to do it because he just leaves muddy footprints behind wherever he's mopped. But yeah, that's amusing. But they give him a bit of warmth here as he kind of befriends this kid, and even Bruce Wayne comes in. So the stuff, obviously, it's more like it's not so much a story as a moment in time as to where this kid is, but essentially Bruce Wayne comes into Arkham. We get to see Jeremiah Arkham, Dr. Arkham from the 90s Nightfall kind of era, which is really my era, and Bruce Wayne comes in and basically takes this kid and puts him in a Wayne Foundation orphanage. But while he's at Arkham, he befriends Clayface. He makes this little friendship with Clayface, and like they humanize Clayface by having him be the one who's actually the one who's gentle with this kid, and kind of makes him a little clay dinosaur, very much like the dinosaur he had in the first part of the story. So yeah, I like that. A lot of humanity in the story. So very interested to see where they're going with this, given that it's a historical kind of thing, and which eras are we going to get through as they go along. So yeah, The Tower Part 2, I give a 4 out of 5. And The House of Gotham Part 2, also I give a 4 out of 5. So yeah, solid stuff, really solid stuff.